Sesame Place is facing a new lawsuit as new video of another alleged racial snub appears to show a character possibly ignoring a 5-year-old girl. TJ Holmes has the latest for us.
Another alleged racial snub by Sesame Place characters, and this one has led to a lawsuit.
I'm hurt, devastated, me and my wife. Just looking at her face, it makes me want to cry every time I see it.
In the video, one character appears to ignore 5-year-old Kennedy Burns while high-fiving other white children nearby. Kennedy is visibly upset. And then another character, again, high-fives the other children while Kennedy's hand remains outstretched.
We stand here before you today simply trying to fight and protect little black children and their fundamental civil rights.
The Baltimore family says they came forward after seeing this viral video last week, posted by the mother of one of these two girls, showing character Rosita high-fiving white parkgoers, then gesturing no to the two little black girls and walking away. That family has also hired an attorney. In response to that video, Sesame Place issued a statement saying they are committed to making this right, adding they will conduct training for our employees so they better understand, recognize, and deliver an inclusive, equitable, and entertaining experience to our guests. The Burns family says that instance was all too much like what they experienced during their trip to Sesame Place in June. The lawsuit filed Wednesday against SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment, the parent company of Sesame Place, alleges the park engages in pervasive and appalling race discrimination against children in the operation of Sesame Place, Philadelphia.
These are the characters that taught our children, that taught me, that taught all of us how to be a friend, how to love people.
The suit claims Sesame Place broke a contract to parkgoers who bought a ticket and violated the Burns' civil rights.
The reason they didn't get the experience they paid and contracted to get was simply because of their race.
Sesame Place says they will review the lawsuit and are committed to deliver an inclusive, equitable, and entertaining experience for all our guests.
And our thanks to TJ for that. All right, ABC News contributor and SiriusXM radio host Mike Muse joining me now live for more on this. All right, Mike, we talked last week when the other video went viral. Now this family, the second family, has come forward saying they experienced the same thing and is taking legal action, as you can see. Do you think there is enough here for a lawsuit, and is that necessary at this point?
So, it's a really good question. The family who was doing this lawsuit says that they have proof where Sesame Place had knowledge that these 4 defendants that they've named employees actually is documented racial biases that has existed with them. So if that is true, then this lawsuit seems to be warranted and has some type of evidence that makes it strong to go forward. And the second thing I feel that this is an important case, Kara, is it's not so much for me about the money as it is about what they're also asking for in the sense of biases training and as well as psychological evaluations as they're doing their hiring and recruitment process for new employees within the Sesame Place. I think for me that is important. I think as you and I have talked before, I don't believe racism, unfortunately, will ever be erased in our society, but this is why policies are so important, in particular within human resourcing, to put the guardrails in place to ensure for equitable experiences both for employees and both for visitors at a park such as Sesame Place.
Right. And in one of their initial statements, Sesame Place said, Mike, that characters' costumes make it hard for them to see. They've also said that the no hand gesture seen in that first video was not directed at any specific person, but a response to multiple requests from someone in the crowd asking Rosita, the character, to hold their child for a photo, which is not permitted. Characters aren't allowed to do that. Clearly, there are more sides to the story with regard to this video that we're looking at.
Absolutely, Kara. Look, I'm not a tall person. I may look tall right now in the TV box, but I do know that the children who attend Sesame Place, they are short. They're small children. They're under, 3 feet, under 4 feet. So I think that they should be trained as employees to look down. So I don't buy the concept of that the costumes prohibit them from seeing below. I think the training, just as in general, is almost common sense, is that that you need to look down consistently. So I don't buy that argument. I also don't buy that argument because there's been too many videos that have taken place where we see the intentionality of black and brown children being bypassed, but then you see the white kid or another child being greeted. And so there's just too much evidence out there just from the videos that we have seen in the public to where I don't buy that narrative of that the costumes make it too hard for us to see below. But the idea of that just goes beyond common sense because you're dealing with little children, so you need to be constantly looking down. But then that goes into the point of the lawsuit in terms of making sure the proper training is there. But I don't believe that is the case.
Well, here's what's interesting, Mike. We heard from a number of performers, as you can imagine, right, when this all came out. And this one performer actually wrote in the email that in the case of Rosita, the performer should be on average 5'4" and would have been able to see from the mouth, which is limited by mesh and some distance away from the performer's eyes. It's clear to me in my experience and watching this video, this performer would not have seen the little girls below until the mouth was directly facing down toward them. He said, he goes on to write, with that in mind, in the video, you see the performer could have possibly had visibility issues with them. While standing up straight, they just would not have seen what was beneath them in the peripheral or behind them. So it's been interesting to get response, right, from employees, former employees, active employees about wearing these costumes. And for full disclosure, my cousin also was a character at Disneyland years ago, and she said there are times where she has had total and complete blind spots. So I do think we need to hear more from those who dress up in these costumes and from the company and give us a reality check here. I mean, even a show too of what these costumes look like and what it's like to put them on and show us, right, how difficult it can be.
You know what's so interesting, Kara? You didn't even realize what was happening, but as you was reading that statement, the producers, they showed the side-by-side video of you reading it, but then also, too, of the action of the character while it was happening as a first-hand account from a former employee who played the role of Rosita. And in the moment when you said they have to look at the eyes throughout at the mouthpiece, you actually see the character Rosita's head actually goes down. And so at that moment, the head wasn't vertically up. I mean, excuse me, it wasn't parallel to the ground. It was she wasn't saying vertical. The head actually did go down at an angle to the point where you were reading. If the eyes are coming from the mouthpiece, then the right there, she could have saw it.
Okay, more to the story, Mike. I know we're gonna keep talking.
You and I are on this case, Kara. You and I
yes,
are on
we
it.
are. We're gonna get to the bottom of this.
Minimum, we're gonna redesign the costumes, you and I.
There you go. I'm in. We want all kids to feel included, for sure. I appreciate you, Mike. Thank you so much.
It's always fun talking to you, Kara. See you next time.
Always, always.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.